I'm a South African currently in Ghana, and in light of recent xenophobic attacks that have yet again been reported in South Africa, I just wanted to share some thoughts. Now, firstly, of course, I can only speak on behalf of myself, but I do believe that there are many South Africans who share similar sentiments. Now, firstly, I am a very patriotic South African. I love my country. And I am also a Pan-Africanist. I have a deep love for Africa. And I truly believe in our shared humanity. So the recent reports of xenophobia in South Africa again has left me deeply disturbed, as it always does. I think maybe where we can start off is by talking about what xenophobia is, right, and what it is not. What it is I guess they call it a fear or a hatred or distrust and discrimination against people from different countries, right? What it is not is an act of patriotism. It is not law enforcement, and it can never be in pursuit of justice, because it is itself an injustice, right? Violence and brutality against our African brothers and sisters is something that I like to believe most South Africans do not support. Okay, but one of the greatest dangers, I suppose, that we face is that the loudest voices are often mistaken for the majority, right? So a small group is driven by frustration, they take to the streets, they act violently, then these actions are amplified and shared and repeated until they become or they begin to define an entire nation, right? But that's not the full picture. South Africa is home to over 60 million people, and most of whom do not engage in violence. They go about their daily lives, working, raising families, and coexisting peacefully with people from across the continent and from across the world. But the truth is that peaceful people are often silent, and silence is easily misinterpreted as agreement. So that's why I'm choosing not to be silent, because there is nothing in our Constitution that justifies violence. There's nothing in our Constitution that allows citizens to take the law into their own hands. There's nothing in our Constitution that justifies intimidation. Yes, the Freedom Charter does say that the people shall govern, but what does that mean? It means that we hold the state accountable, not that we replace it. It means participation, not vigilantism. And it means justice, not mob action. So, of course, frustrations exist, right? The current form of response that we're seeing to that, though, is not lawful and it's not justifiable, right? Now, if we allow incidents like these to define us, I think we create something that's even more dangerous than the violence itself, which is a distorted narrative, right? We then begin to believe that all foreigners are undocumented, that all people from certain nationalities are criminals, and that all South Africans are violent, yet none of this is true, right? But this is how narratives are formed. Small and loud groups shape perception, and perception shapes reality. And my reality and my perception has been shaped by my own lived experiences, of course. I had the privilege of studying under an African Union scholarship for my master's, and I did so alongside peers from all over Africa. And in that environment, I really came to understand the true meaning of Ubuntu, which is what we South Africans should be living by, right? I am because we are. I learned that beyond the borders, beyond the culture, beyond the languages, we're far more similar than we are different. I've traveled to countries across Africa, like Nigeria, like Ghana, like Cameroon, Algeria, and I have experienced such warmth and such hospitality, such humanity. And I know of many other Africans who've experienced the same in South Africa. And that is the Africa that I know. And that is the Africa that I believe in. And that's the Africa that I love. Our continent's long been guided by ideas and ideals of Pan-Africanism, right? Led by voices such as Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Nelson Mandela. And they all envisioned an Africa that is united, that is not divided, that's collaborative and not hostile, and that's rooted in dignity and mutual respect, right? And xenophobia just stands in direct opposition to this vision. But of course, we have to be balanced and we have to be honest. We know that South Africa, like many many other countries, face real challenges, right? We have challenges of unemployment, we have challenges of inequality, we do have challenges of illegal immigration, and these are legitimate concerns, but I think misdirecting all our frustrations towards Africans does not solve our problem. It in fact deepens it. I think it's important to recognize that there are many foreign nationals who live in South Africa, live and work in South Africa legally, and many contribute very meaningfully to the economy and to the society, and many experience South Africa as welcoming and as full of opportunity, and the opposite is also true. There are many foreign nationals who are in South Africa illegally and who do not contribute to the economy or to the society, and in fact contribute to its destruction, right? Both realities can exist. But violence cannot be the response to either. I think let me just wrap up by saying that I love South Africa and I love Africa, and that is why moments like these are, for me, really painful, because they don't reflect who we are at our core, right? I think let's just not define a nation by its worst moments, and let us not allow small and loud minorities to define our identity. I think we need to reclaim the narrative, and we are not enemies. We are family, we are Africans.